Hey, everybody, this is So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Welcome to our year in review, where we're going to talk about 2024, our favorite movies, some of our favorite movies, and just some of our favorite moments from the past year. You know, it's a new year here. We're past Christmas. We're past New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We are in the first couple weeks of January. It's snowing here as of recording, so that's nice.
Well,
Well,
a little dusting out
it
here.
attempted,
Yeah,
and that's what matters.
it showed up. It snowed up.
It snowed
Yeah.
up. So
It looks like, powder
here
powdered
we are.
sugar out there.
It kind of feels weird though, because like we're kicking off a new year, but we're about to actually end a season of this show for a few weeks at least.
Yes.
But don't worry, we'll be back in February. But,
Yeah.
we are gonna, after this episode, take a few weeks off so that we can rest up and plan for the year and all that fun stuff. So don't think we're going away or anything like that.
Mhm.
You can still find us. Hopefully we'll come back better than ever. That's the goal. And you know what? This is not what this show is going to be, us grading ourselves. I think, generally speaking, maybe not 2020, but we come back stronger every year.
Yeah.
You're muted. Garrett.
I'm muted.
hit the
Oh,
wrong
Garrett's
button.
muted.
No. We learn.
We learn.
We learn and we grow.
And we need
And that is the
exactly.
key, and we've gotten better. I agree with
Mhm.
this.
Agree.
2020
We live,
wasn't
we
our
laugh.
fault.
No, that
There
I'm
was
saying
something that happened.
it wasn't our fault, but it may be the
It was
only
a-
year that we just were like hanging on.
Yeah, well, it was a paradigm shift for sure.
It was, but we made it, and like I said, I feel good about where we are, and we hope that you guys do too, and that you'll stick around for
Mhm.
season next. I don't know the number. Doesn't matter.
Isn't it as season 8?
Maybe. Could be.
We are the longest running weekly podcast in Tulsa, I believe. So
And if you disagree with that, come tell us. Show me who's number one. If it's not
Yeah.
us, who's the longest
can't
running
find 'em.
podcast? Can't find him. I don't know.
Got to be
Um,
on the internet.
So yeah, that's exciting. We're gonna talk about all that fun stuff. First, though, we've been cramming to get our end of the year list done. I want to catch up a little bit on what we've kind of been watching
Mhm.
the past few weeks over this holiday break. I fit in 2 more 2024 movies. The first one I caught on streaming was Conclave. I
I watched this too.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
catch this in theaters really because it's not my bag necessarily. Into a lot of the intrigue of the Catholic Church, and Pope has picked it. But I heard enough stuff about it. I, had enough free time during Christmas to give it a watch, and it was certainly, I think, interesting. If anything, I just enjoyed the catty nature of the Cardinals. Very catty people in the movie.
Yeah.
They're like, I
It's
don't want him
very-
to be Pope. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Well, because I don't like him.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it's very it was very interesting from that perspective. The performance is very good, I would
Mhm.
say.
Yeah, they are.
John Lithgow, Ralph Fiennes, both very good in it. And yeah, so the sort of fun complexity of it is that it feels like, I mean, it's an adult drama. So I mean, it there's a little bit of mystery and a little bit of like trying to figure out what's going on. But also, yeah, looking at this sort of I don't know, the man-made culture of the whole thing of deciding, it's at the end of the day, it's an election, and
Yeah.
elections are popularity contests in many ways. They are filled with promises and deceit, and maybe not deceit to the literal sense, but at the very least, a lot of scheming.
Mhm.
So that was fun, and then it has a very like, okay, all right, I didn't think about that kind of ending,
Mhm.
but yeah, so
Yeah.
very, very crazy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a slower movie.
It's a slow burn, but if you're into Pope stuff, you can catch that on Peacock.
Mhm.
And then I went to catch A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic
Yeah.
that is out in theaters right now, starring Tim Chalamet. I went to go see this at Circle Cinema. Shout out to
Mhm.
them. We love them, and you can go check out their Instagram at Circle Cinema and ours at So Many Sequels Pod. We post together sometimes, which is fun. We did a little collaborative post to kick off the year when I went to see this movie, so that was fun. And I don't know a lot about Bob Dylan. I still have yet to go to the Bob Dylan Center. Tulsa is home to the Bob Dylan Center, his archives. To my knowledge, the only Bob Dylan museum in existence. So I will be making an effort to go check that out soon. But I say that just to say I don't know a lot about him going in. and I didn't know what to expect from this kind of biopic, but I liked it a lot. Performance is great
Mhm.
all across the board. I mean, Elle Fanning is really good. Ed Norton as a certified dork, Pete Seeger. I don't know if he was as much of a dork as he was in the movie, but man, was he a square.
Yeah.
And I like
He's just
Pete Seeger.
wonderfully old-fashioned.
Well, so what
So
I
delightful.
what I do know about Bob Dylan is like he had the big controversy over the switch to electric, and that was kind of the crux of the movie. This is not about his whole life; it's really like a 4 to 5 year period that covers this. And I know I told you this, David. He plays electric in the festival, and I'm like, this is what you're upset about. It's so tame.
No, it's so much.
And
It's very
Pete's
mild.
like about to grab an axe.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
They are so up in arms over the electric music. Anyway, it's a good movie. I
Mhm.
think I would recommend it if you like that. If you like a biopic, a musical one, it's good. It's good for that. Great music. Tim sang his own songs,
Yes.
and he sounds like
Yeah.
Dylan. So like
He did a great job. on
impressive
that
work
regard.
there.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I saw this as well over the Christmas break, and I did enjoy it a lot in regards to the performances. Like you said, Ed Norton, Big Tim, Elle Fanning was great. Boyd Holbrook, who I'm not necessarily a tremendous fan of, does a really good Johnny Cash in in small
He
doses.
does with his guitar
He knows none. He's got the whole. He's got the sound.
and the drunken
Really
stumble.
does a good job. Yeah, it just does a good job in general. So like that was very good. I've always been a big James Mangold fan. I did think that this was like a little too long for me. It sort of just drags
Oh,
towards the end.
Yeah, it's way too long.
So, in that regard, and it's like 2 hours 40 maybe, and then like you really feel the last 40. I don't like being one of those guys that complains about length all the time, but this was one of those scenarios where I kind of felt like it peaked at a certain point. But performance is very strong. Writing is very good as well. Like it just feels very natural. So enjoyed that for the most part. It didn't make my top 10 this year, but very good.
The one just fun little thing, behind the scenes thing I heard about this movie was I listened to Elle Fanning on Conan O'Brien's podcast, and she said that to this day, Timothy never got to meet Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said that Tim and Elle were actually supposed to have a day on set with Bob Dylan where he was going to come and
Mhm.
rehearse with them, and he, as usual, just did not show up. And
Mhm.
so they made the whole movie without ever meeting him, and that just is what I
Oh.
know about him. So
I forgot her name. I'm going to try to look it up here real quick. But the woman who played Joan Baez in it was also fantastic. Like, she
Mhm.
was also really, really good.
she was very
and
good.
thought I'd shout her out as well.
So that's what I caught up with this week.
Monica Barbaro. that's
Yes, Monica Barbaro. Yeah. Garrett, what about you? You've got a long list here.
Yeah, I was trying to pad the stats as we got down to the nitty gritty.
Mhm.
I ended up catching a lot that you guys have already talked about, so I won't waste too much time on them. But Beetlejuice, which,
Mhm.
again, I will say, of the Lego sequels that I have seen, probably one of the best. I think that they did a really good job with the sequel. I had a lot of fun. They really had the vibe of the original one. Did not need Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis in this one. So for anybody that had hesitancies about that, it was fine. Did not love how involved the dad was, even though he wasn't. Like that was
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
thing. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But like I would have gone a completely different route and just ignored that. But that is my choice to make. Not so. But I did think they did a good job with that one.
Can I say real quick something interesting that I read or that I found out in the aftermath of Beetlejuice is, they have the father, he dies in like a plane crash in the Caribbean or something like that, or in Hawaii or something like that. Originally, way, way, way back in like 1990 something, that was the first idea for a Beetlejuice sequel was Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii or something like that. And it was going to see Beetlejuice follow what is their name? I can't remember their name. Follow the family to Hawaii or something like that. And it was going to be like Beetlejuice in the islands or something like that. That was one of the original ideas. It never came to fruition because Burton got on a bunch of other projects. But I thought that was a fun reference to forgotten movie sequel.
I am both glad that didn't get made and sad that Tim Burton did a bunch of projects in between that and this one. So no winning for either of us. Thelma, it was a movie that Josh, I believe you
Mhm.
saw. I also really liked this. Very good recommendation. Man, I cannot believe June Squibb is 93. Like, for real, for real.
I know, I
Mhm.
cried at that movie too.
Yeah, it was really good. Had a lot of heart. It was, I kind of went into it. You'd mentioned something like Mission Impossible, but with an older woman. And so I kind of went in thinking it was going to be a spoof or like a little bit more of a comedy aspect of it. And
Mhm.
man, there's a lot of heart in this, and it was a really, really well done, a little indie movie that stood out.
But you see what I'm talking about, though, that thrift shop scene. I mean, that's Mission.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was good.
It was good.
My Old Ass is on Hulu with Aubrey Plaza. That
Mhm.
movie was really good. Got me in the feels a couple of times, and really another one that I like the indie movies that are not afraid to take a weird premise head on. It's crazy, it's wild, but like we are confident enough in this story to tell that we're gonna take this extreme route, and it really was well told.
Yes, I love the movie, and I thought Maisie Stella did really great in that too. In her first
Yes.
film role, she has some TV credits I looked up afterward, but she's great.
Yeah, she was really a standout performer in that one too. I was not familiar with
Mm-mm.
any of the other performers in this movie for the most part. Piper Posey, or Parker Posey, but some of the others they were new to me, but everyone did a really good job. And then I finished Speak No Evil, which, man, I really wish the marketing hadn't screwed this movie over because it was so good. David, you were right.
Mhm.
It really was tense. It was a slow burn in a way that, like, I didn't expect, and it just kept me, like, hooked on it. Also, might I say, the most realistic portrayal of how a husband would react in a situation like this. Like, everybody always like, oh, yeah, oh, tough guy. Lies. So I really enjoyed
Yeah, I
this.
think Mackenzie Davis really steps up in that one.
I need to see that one. Yeah, marketing made me avoid it. Too many trailers.
Yes, and it was good. So
Yeah.
the separation
Well,
was good. So
it-
I recommend it too.
It walks a fine line between scenarios where you would be uncomfortable if there wasn't some sense of impending dread. Like there's a lot of like real scenario awkward versus like, wait, I think something sinister is going on here. You know what I mean? Like there's some things that happen where you're like, that's kind of effed up, or at least it would be in real life. Okay, so my last minute padding, Josh, you I think you shared a TikTok or something where it was I think you're just here for the zip line sound, but I think you're just watching this to log in on Letterboxd. And I was like, oh man, they got us. I watched Carry On, starring Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. This is a lot of people compared this to Die Hard, but not enough people compared it to Phone Booth, which it's a lot like. Which I'm a big fan of Phone Booth, so I like that. Jason Bateman, I think, is actually really good in this because he's not really playing funny, but he is. Something about Jason Bateman's voice, he just like he commands your attention. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he kind of sounds half bored or whatever, but like it works. So this was fun. It wasn't a favorite movie of the year, but I'd recommend it if you're looking for something to do. I also watched this. I watched Smile 2, which I regretted for most of that movie. You guys both saw Smile 2, didn't you?
Yeah.
One dude was full on naked.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
he was.
Did
It
you
was-
find this better or worse than the first one?
better than the first one. Also, wildly mind bending. Who knows what reality is in that particular
Yeah.
situation? Crazy implications to finish the film. This was also a terrible movie to
Mhm.
watch before Conclave because the whole time I'm watching Conclave, I've still got Smile 2 vibes in my head.
Yep.
I'm like, don't trust that guy. He's got the smile. Anyway. Then, to kind of also continue on my horror kick, I watched The Substance, which was just effing gross. A really good movie, but all around disgusting.
To hate this movie in the best possible way, because body horror is a thing that I struggle with. but but I like it. It's a weird thing.
Well, it
But
might be
I
the
don't.
ultimate body horror
I
movie
know.
for you then.
I don't. I
Yeah.
know it's gonna gross me out, but like I'm ready for it,
I
and so
mean-
I think I can handle it.
And my wife nailed it. It's super Tales of the Crypt vibes, or Tales from the Crypt vibes, especially towards the end. It's something.
It's
really
my
good, though,
personal.
great.
It was my personal number one of the year.
I had a feeling it would be. It's Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley,
Mhm.
both very good in this. Just be prepared. They are really mean to each other. Anyway, finishing it out, I watched Juror number 2 with Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult was on a spree here towards the end of the year with this movie, a movie called The Order, and Nosferatu. I really dug Juror number 2. It was a very nice, slow burn crime sort of legal drama. And I kept thinking, like, because I had heard a couple people say that they thought it was boring, and I just never really was bored. It was a very good what would you do kind of scenario movie. J.K. Simmons is really good in it, and yeah, it was kind of I enjoyed myself. It was a very solid movie. It made my top 5, I think, for the year. The last movie, which I finished just moments before starting this podcast, was the new Wallace and Gromit movie, Vengeance Most Foul, I believe is the full title. And this was solid, classic Aardman animation. I'm just so glad to see that for the most part, this stop motion group is still making movies in 2024, and it's not like they haven't run any of this stuff into the ground, really. So very fun, enjoyable. Happy to add it to the list here towards the end.
Sweet. Yeah. Good list. Good list all around of people catching up. I'll probably do a few more, but no need to keep dragging it out into the year. More 2024 movies. Let's get into one of our favorite parts of the year, or at least the part where David gets to do all his fun stuff. Let's get.
Mhm.
Everybody loves their Spotify Wrapped, their Apple
Mhm.
Music Replay, their
Mhm.
Walmart,
Their
Plus
Walmart
Wrapped.
Wrapped. Yep.
Wow, that was good. That was good.
I thought you might. Yeah.
Well, they do it. We got HBO Max made one this year. I did finally get
Yeah.
that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like every app in the world made a Wrapped, whether you wanted it or. Most of them still not good, but we made a Wrapped, and now we get to judge David's work and see if it was good. What? Give us our data
wish I had-
breakdown of the past year.
Yeah, I wish I had cool graphics or something like that, but unfortunately, just had to settle for my soothing tones. All right, so
Do that.
we did 41 movies this year. Despite the name of the show, only 5 sequels in total this year.
Really?
Yes, and only 3 of them came out this year. Those were Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2, and Furiosa. The other sequels that we did were Mad Max, Fury Road, and the Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Those were our other sequels that we've done this year. We have a new oldest movie that we've done for the show. That is It's a Wonderful Life, which came out way back in
41,
46.
46.
I had a feeling
Yes,
that would be
that's
our
right.
new oldest movie.
Our newest movie is Hot Frosty, which came out in November of 2024.
A swish that was.
If you're curious, we added 14 90s films this year. That's the most. That was our heaviest decade of 2020 of this particular year. Still not enough to make it our highest watched decade. That goes to the 2010, we've watched 74 2010 films for this particular podcast. 2020s is
better.
right behind. We also added a movie from the 60s, and we added one new movie from the 70s. So our older movies, we're slowly building. Our most watched year is 2021. We watched 26 2021 films. That was a year we kind of shifted a lot of our style around, but it was a good year for a lot of individual years. 99 obviously picked up 5 new films or 6 new films, I think, to jump in there. We had a great year in terms of themes. I wanted to ask you guys, what were your favorite themes of the year? Because we had quite a few. We started the year with So Many Sweethearts, followed by Best Picture Month. Then we did A24 Pro, which featured Swiss Army Man, and I didn't think I was going to watch a grosser movie than that in 2024, and then came The Substance. Anyway, then we had our big summer, which is filled with a lot of movies from this year, including, we did Twister and Twisters and stuff like that. Then we had Action August, so many sports, so many scares, November 99, and so many Santas. Did you guys have a favorite moment or favorite theme from this year? Or
Quite
favorite?
enjoyed the sports months. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna lie. I think we brought really good movies to the table, and I think we brought a wide genre
Mhm.
of movies to the table. You know,
Mhm.
we had my movie was A League of Their Own, and softball, baseball, Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, big names, big production, Penny Marshall. You know, it's huge, it's epic, it's classic. That was
was
so
an
much
awesome one.
fun. And then, to counteract that, Josh, you had White Men Can't Jump. You've got Street Hustle in there.
Mhm.
Great performances
Mhm.
from so many different people. And then, David, I don't remember what you brought to the table there, but I'm sure.
Oh, it was Cool Runnings.
That's right. It was Cool Runnings and Happy Gilmore. So
Yeah.
both of those two. I think it was really fun.
Josh, did
Yeah.
you have a favorite theme or favorite moment maybe from this year?
I did.
Or our movie?
Sports September was great, and that was a good argument in favor of. I'm kind of between two, honestly, which is cheating, but whatever. For themes, I really liked Best Picture month because I felt like it opened us up to some films that we wouldn't have otherwise discussed. I mean,
Yes.
Amadeus and The Sting in particular both come to mind as movies we probably wouldn't have watched.
Yeah, for sure.
But then also, I really love November 99 just for the concept. I thought that was a really cool concept that we did. And it included a lot of just really fun discussions between
For
Blair
me-
Witch and,
Oh, yeah.
and I was just trying to think of what we did. Galaxy Quest. No, we didn't do Galaxy Quest.
Oh, we didn't do Galaxy Quest. We did
Ooh, that
Matt.
was
We
a
did
close
Mystery
fan
Men.
vote. one. That's true. November 99 also had like our best, closest fan vote.
Yeah, it was
Oh, right,
fun.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna say in terms of favorite month, I mean, the Best Picture month did provide me with like a new top 50 favorite movies. With The Sting, I loved that movie. I also really enjoyed In the Heat of the Night. I'm gonna go with Best Picture month. I think that was my favorite theme. I think my favorite moment of this year was when we each, for no reason and without planning, watched Tombstone and then reviewed Tombstone in successive episodes.
Who started it now? Do you remember that?
It was
it
me.
you?
I think it
I
was
think you
Garrett.
just discussed it enough to where it just we just couldn't not watch it.
Yeah,
It's so good. And David had never seen it, and he
I'd
loves
never
westerns.
seen it. And so yeah, it was a good year for cool guys doing cool crimes between Tombstone and The Sting. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Obviously, we need to make sure we write "cool guys doing cool crimes" down as a monthly theme.
Yes, and I've made out a short list to potentially do.
Perfect.
So you want to know one of my other favorite moments of the year was also, and Josh, I think you sent me this, was getting to talk to Samantha Isler. That was also
Yeah.
a fun moment for this year. We did an interview with her, and that was a lot of fun. And watching her new movie Breakup Season.
I enjoyed show adjacent posting a video that went mega viral related to Dune last March.
Yeah.
When I saw local artist Jesse Myers in a full-blown Dune worm constructed out of I don't know what, and one of those not unicycles, hoverboard type thing. No, I think it
Hoverboard
was a
type things.
Unawheel. I don't know what it was,
Oh.
but he was at AMC. I was in line. I caught him. Next thing I know, he and my video are on the Tonight Show. After midnight on CBS, I got 4 million views. He blew up. He's continued to do it. He did it for Beetlejuice. He wrote a wrote a Beetlejuice worm.
I saw another one.
He did it for Gladiator.
Yeah.
He put on a Gladiator suit. So that guy's awesome. That was another one of my favorite moments of the year, is like just running into that guy and seeing him do awesome movie shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess my favorite moment would be absolutely devastating David and destroying him as the 2-time champion
Oh, right.
of the Letterbox Trophy.
Yeah.
So that truly was the bright shining star of a moment, if you will.
That was tough. That was a tough swallow. But I'll be coming back for it. We're gonna stack the rules in a new way. David will be back on top before you know it.
Always changing the rules.
This was y'all's idea to change the rules to get more points. Anyway, again, I've got some Letterbox game stats coming up here in just a second. So our in terms of all the movies we watched this year, the average rating, if you take all those movies, take them their Letterbox scores, the average rating was a 3.6. So I would say, broadly speaking, that's pretty good. You get a 3.6 on Letterboxd. That's not bad.
No, that's pretty good.
Our highest rated movie that we watched this year. You guys want to take a guess? Do you remember do you guys have any idea?
Was it in Best Picture?
It's
we
a
did an
Wonderful Life.
Yeah, that we did for an
Oh,
episode.
that's a good
It
one.
is.
Okay,
It's a
yeah.
Wonderful Life with a 4.4 was our highest rated movie on Letterboxd that we reviewed this year. Followed closely by Amadeus, which was a 4.3. And The Sting and Mad Max were 4.2s. So It's a Wonderful Life joins. It's tied for our third highest review of all time in terms of Letterboxd scoring. It joins The Thing, Empire Strikes Back, the Lord of the Rings films, all three of those, and Across the Spider-Verse as 4.4s. Dark Knight at 4.5 is number 2. The Dark Knight is tied with Return of the King at 4.5 as our highest reviewed movies that we've ever done. Our lowest reviewed movie of the year. Anybody want to take any guesses at that?
I don't know.
Or our lowest rated, maybe.
Oh, I do. For
Probably-
us or for Letterboxd in general?
How Letterboxd scored the movies in terms of movies we watched this year. What do you think is the lowest?
It was one that we watched not too long ago too. It was
It
probably
was.
a Christmas movie, I think, because
It
that was
was.
the flop month, and so
It was. You're in the right neighborhood.
Oh no, it's an Adam Sandler, The 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, very close. That was number 2. That was the 2.4. So that's our second lowest of the year. But you're in the right month. So it has
Cannot
to be.
remember I mean, that must have been Hot Frosty.
It was Hot Frosty.
And
is
that's
our
like, look, it's better than Eight
lowest
Crazy
rated.
Nights. I'm sorry. Is that a hot take? I thought it was better than Eight Crazy
It
Nights.
might be.
I thought Eight Crazy
No,
Nights was
it's
just god awful.
I think if enough people watched 8 Crazy Nights this year, they would change that. It is neither of those though are our lowest rated ever. Still holding the title of lowest rated So Many Sequels movie is Superman 4: Quest for Peace at 1.7. Just ahead of Space Jam 2, which is a 1.8. Okay, I'm almost done here, but thanks to Letterboxd for creating stats for lists, I've been able to actually come up with our most watched actors of all time and our most watched directors. Thanks largely to Inside Out 2, and Werewolf in London, John Ratzenberger and Frank Oz are now our most watched actors of all time.
I don't like that.
Well, they
no
are voice
disrespect to
actors.
them, but bummer.
They've done 12 each for us. We did watch a lot of Muppets movies at one point in time. We also have watched a lot of Pixar films, so that's why. Oh, also, John Ratzenberger, didn't realize this, was in 2 Star Wars movies. He was in Empire Strikes Back, I think, and Return of the King, or Return of the Jedi. So both boosted their stats there a little bit. Also, thanks to our reviews of the movies Her and Speed, Chris Pratt and Keanu Reeves are up there. They both have 11 and 10 movies respectively. And so Keanu Reeves, Chris Pratt, Frank Oz, and John Ratzenberger up there at the top. And thanks to Christmas with the Cranks and True Lies, Jamie Lee Curtis is firmly our number 1 most watched female actor, with I think 9 movies total. Directors, we have, in terms of all the movies we've ever done, we have 233 total directors that we have consumed. Our most watched this year, I don't think you guys will love this, Sean Levy joined the group of our most watched directors with Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan. It's worth mentioning that we used to review a lot of sequels and a lot of franchises, and Sean Levy directed the Night of the Museum films, which gave him 3 movies for us. And then we also watched Deadpool, and you guys did a review of Free Guy a few years ago too, so that's why Levy's up there in the number 5. Spielberg's up there for his 4 Indiana Jones films and Ready Player One. Nolan had 3 Batman movies. We watched Oppenheimer and Tenet, so they're in our top 5.
Next month, we're going to have a theme called We Gotta Do Better Month, and then it's just going to be good things.
Well,
Good directors, good movies, classics. We gotta do better.
Spielberg and Nolan are up there, and then, if you want to know the rest that are kind of towards the top, we have Sam Raimi.
Did you ever say who the top one was?
The top who? Director?
Yeah.
It's Nolan, Levy, and Spielberg are all tied at 5.
Oh, I didn't realize they were tied.
Yeah. Levy, Spielberg, and Nolan are tied at 5 each. Sam Raimi's up there with 4.
I'm with you, Garrett. We gotta do better. Do Better Month is
Well,
coming soon.
That's the thing, is that's what we've discussed, is that we used to do a lot of sequels, so there's a lot for people to, there's a lot of great directors, they don't make sequels, so they only make 1 film, and then they cut out of there. So anyway, in terms of box office, we talked about this a lot throughout the year. We watched 3 of the top highest grossing domestic films, 2 of the top 10 in terms of worldwide numbers. And 2024 was a bit of a down year, but greatly improved by the last half of the year. There was a point in time where we were about 25% behind 2023. We finished the year just 3.9%, so a pretty standard drop, which is much better. In any given year with the box office, there's a drop or gain of between 1 and 5%, so we're back to normal. We're still way off from pre-pandemic 2018, 2019, when we're making $11 billion a year. This year, we made $8.2 billion at the box office, so still hoping for a bigger rebound. I think, Josh, you shared with us a Deadline or Variety, it was some kind of article about the high hopes for this year's box office with a lot of big movies coming back. So hopefully 2025 be a huge year for us. Okay, wrapping it up, Letterboxd stats. Garrett was the winner this year with 14 points. Josh had 13. David only had 12. That said, little fun fact, David had the most direct hits.
Boo!
9.
Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
direct
Boo!
hits. So David more efficient than Garrett and Josh. Garrett had 7 direct hits. Josh only had 6 direct hits, but they were crucial direct hits.
He makes shit more efficient. More efficient.
I know.
Like that's a
I mean-
that's a metric. Yeah, I'm the
Like
most.
That's
what?
what I did last.
you know,
No.
literally
no.
got
David,
last
you've
place,
talked-
but wants to
David,
say
you've
more
talked
efficient.
you've talked nonstop for 20 minutes. So
Anyway, that's it. That's the
no,
list.
last year he was like, he would confuse the hell out of me because he'd be like, "Here's the stick, but you have X amount of X," and I'm like, "Does it matter? Does it change the end total? No, the way you present it, it makes me feel like I'm doing better, and I'm last. Stop that."
Well, you had more total wins, but you had less direct hits. Once you guys introduced the direct hit thing as a way to try to knock me down, it only hurt you because all of a sudden I was
If
getting,
anything, it says that you got all those direct hits and still couldn't get out of last place.
well, this year was the case.
Uh-huh.
Year before, different story.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, that's your
you
so many
will
sequels
never
wrapped.
have that trophy again.
Oh, that's what you guys
Let's
said.
also remember that last year Garrett wasn't here for half the year, so it was just
Mhm.
you two.
It's true.
That's true. That's true.
It's true. There was a big chunk where it was just me and Josh, and
That's very true.
Anyway, we'll see. We'll see who wins in 2025. This trophy, I've got a spot carved out for it over here, so it might be back with me.
Mhm.
But that's all I've got. If you guys have any things you want next year, I can look into that as well. In the previous years, I had kept track of our individual ratings and come up with our individual best and worst and all that kind of stuff. But I just didn't have time to listen to that many podcasts again.
All right. That was a lot of awesome stats that we got there for the show this year. I'm sure that next
There you
year
go.
we will have plenty more. Hopefully we even beat some of those goals and we actually do better. Maybe that's the theme of not just a month, but maybe the theme of the year for So Many Sequels is do better, guys. But we still had a lot of good wins, We added 215 YouTube subscribers this year, which is awesome. This show started out as purely a podcast and has been a podcast most of our existence. But, in the past few years with COVID and all that, we kind of pushed into YouTube. And so we're trying to do that more. So subscribe to us there if you haven't done that. Just search So Many Sequels on YouTube. We would love to have you watch the show as well as listen to it. So go do that. We have a goal of we'd love to hit 500 subscribers in 2025. So spread the word. If you know other people who love movies and are looking for just some fun movie talk in the background or on your car rides, whatever you do, tell them to hit us up. SoManySequels.com. You can find our social media links there. You can listen to all of our back catalog episodes. And hopefully, going into this year, we want to have a few more things on the website. So keep an eye on it. Bookmark it. Do people still bookmark websites? I don't know how people operate
I do.
anymore. But go do that. We would love to have you and anyone else who wants to join our little podcast squad in the next year. Please do. Okay. We will see you guys in a couple days here with our full top 5 movies of the year. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you soon.